narcissistic sibling, or maybe an in-law, well, you're not going to want to miss this episode.
Welcome to the Victim to Warrior podcast.
We're John and Melissa, and we're both narcissistic abuse survivors, and our mission is to help other survivors reclaim and rebuild their lives. Now, if you're watching us on YouTube, welcome, but we're also streaming live on all other platforms, and we've included mailbag, so make sure you stay till the end because it just might be your question. Now, today we had a special guest. She is not only a coaching client, but she's also a graduate of our 8-week life transformation method, and she's here to tell her story of abuse and success and triumph. And her abuser was her sister. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to Warrior Talk. We are so excited to have a guest on our show today. This is Christa Harrison, and Christa is one of my coaching clients who I met a good while back, and she has been on a long journey, I would say a lifelong journey of narcissistic abuse. So I can't wait for you guys to hear her story, especially for those of you out there that are suffering with a sibling or a parent or some other relative, maybe not a spouse, and you just don't know what is happening or how to get out of it. Because what we've witnessed with Christa is an amazing life transformation of where she was to where she is now, where she wants to share her story and her journey for everyone out there that might be suffering from this same thing to know there is hope. There is a way for you to get out of it. So why don't you tell our followers a little bit about where you're from and your life growing up? Because your narcissist was your sister.
I grew up in a family of 4 and 2 loving, very loving parents. I always thought they were loving parents. When I was 4, we adopted my sister, and I was excited to have a sister. And I'm thinking about the time she was in junior high, she was started becoming really self-centered. Everything was about her. I kind of always felt like I was becoming the Cinderella child, the one who, yes, you can have your way, but if your sister needs something, then we need to help her.
Oh, wow. So how was it with like vacations or events or Christmas? I mean, what was it like during growing up with this, disrupted dynamic in your family?
Oh, well, she was one of her favorite classics as kids. Well, of course, we were all home for Christmas, but she would delay things, or my mom was notorious for wanting a family picture. She'd throw tizzy fits about having to take a family picture. It had to be her way,
Mm-hmm. How did she make you feel about yourself?
Say, because I'm single, I chose to be single. I don't know what life is like being married. You don't have kids, so you can't tell me how to raise kids. You're not a nurse, so you've never owned your own home, so don't talk to me about how things should be taken care of.
So she threw things in your face because you were single and you didn't have children, making that decision for yourself rather than respecting it. She used it as a weapon against you.
Yeah.
Which is very hurtful.
Very. Yet she would, like when my mom died, she came and actually picked me up, which scared me. I'm like, you're volunteering to do what? What are you getting out of this?
Yeah, I could see why you would think that.
And we got home. Sadly. First thing she said is, now, you need to be supportive of Dad. And I'm like, I'm grieving too. In my mind, I'm grieving too. When do I get to grieve?
Sure.
And then I went into immediate caregiving for him. So I was working, caregiving 24/7, taking care of the house, taking care of the yard. She was supposed to, I'll come over and help.
Did she?
No, it was like pulling teeth.
So I'm sure she always had an excuse, but didn't really care that you're the one doing all of it, working full time and trying to keep your dad together, take care of your dad. And you just lost your mother, so you're grieving, like you said, but she couldn't be bothered with that to help you.
My favorite excuse was, well, I can't be stressed. This is just stressing me out to make a commitment.
Oh my gosh! Like, what were you? Were you not stressed out? Did you not get a chance not to be stressed out?
No.
How old were you, if you don't mind me asking, when your mom died? Because you guys, you and your sister, are you close in age? I mean, were you?
Early 50s.
Wow. Okay. So you were adult midlife basically when you were trying to deal with this, and she was still being very selfish and self-centered and didn't want to be bothered. And that's pretty bad. I could understand if she had babies, but her children are grown. I mean, for the most part. I mean, she could have easily helped you, given you a break every now and then. Now, you, if I remember correctly, you basically were responsible for being the executor of your parents' estate. I mean, they trusted you with that. Tell us how that went, because I remember our sessions. You were struggling. Whew, she was really being vicious.
Oh, yeah. So she would accuse me through our financial advisor, who was also having to work with both of us to get things set up so she could transfer funds.
Sure.
She would tell her, well, I think Christa's just taking the money and hiding it and stealing. And
Oh,
she knew me well enough to know that I would never have done that, and she shut it down before it went anywhere.
thank goodness you had somebody had your back, because that's like a smear campaign. As time went on, you started talking about you're walking again, and you're taking care of you, and you actually wake up and you're happy, and you don't have that anxiety ridden feeling that you grew up with, that you lived with, or whenever the call came over the phone, it would be just this tense feeling that I know so many people can relate to. So tell us about when you started seeing that shift in your inner strength, your warrior strength is what we call it.
My warrior strength. I think um, it was when I was doing the 8-week course.
Oh yeah, life transformation.
Yeah. And I think I came to the exercise one and I felt challenged by John, because I think he did that session.
He did.
And I was like, I was walking, but it might have been 20 minutes because I do enjoy walking. I love walking.
Well, clears your head. Yes.
It clears my head. I felt challenged by him. And now I'm
So I didn't know that.
every day 3 miles, pretty much. I take one rest day.
That is amazing. 3 miles. John and I walk 3 miles like twice a week. I mean, we do other things, but that is amazing. So 6 days a week, you've lost weight. You look great. Having that type of challenge that kind of just stuck with you of, you know what, this is a challenge, instead of, because when we're abused, we recoil. We anything that puts us out there is like anxiety. And so we have a tendency to isolate. If I isolate, I don't have to deal with it. I don't have to take that hard step. I don't have to, and that's so difficult. And we're thrilled that, the 8-week life transformation was so transformative for you, because it is hard to take those steps, especially when you feel like there's no one out there. There's no one that understands it. There's no one that can help you. There's no one that you can talk to who actually went through it and survived it and got to the other side. And so, but you're motivating yourself, which is awesome, because you feel so much better. I mean,
And I would say the second part was when I had to write the letters.
yes. The letters of release. Yes, that's a big step in that program. So yeah, tell everybody about that.
So I ended
That's
up
big.
writing 3 letters.
Wow.
To my
Okay.
sister, one to my friend, and then one to one person who really hurt me. And then I went back, reread, made sure everything sounded fine, printed them, deleted them from the computer, shredded them. And at that point, I could honestly say, I said to myself, I love you. I think that was the first time I said, I love myself.
Oh my God, that is amazing.
And that's when I was like, no, I have to take care of myself. I can't take care of my niece and nephew, or can't be there for them if I'm not there for me. And
That's such a huge step in your growth as a person. And, so many people think, writing these letters are painful. It is painful. It is stinking painful because you're purging. Yeah, they're literally purging like toxics out of your body. And like you said, it's like getting everything you want to say out because you can't say it to them. They're not going to listen. They're going to twist it around. They're going to make it your fault, or they're going to shut you down like your one friend. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to, they just don't want to be bothered. But that's harvesting such negativity inside your own body. It produces so much cortisol. It's negative for your health. And it's hugely important. But, cleansing your mind, body, and soul it's something that people neglect when they're abused. So tell us about your relationship with your sister now, because I know she knows something changed because she can't push your buttons.
so the relationship now is, I've pretty much mentally kind of said she's dead. And I've really had to let go of that little dream the little girl inside me had.
Sure.
Um,
Of having that best friend like you want it so badly. What would you tell people? Let's say somebody's in the same situation you were in 6-8 months ago and just struggling to give up the dream of having that relationship with your sibling or another relative, and they feel stuck. What would you tell them just as a first step, just to try to get the first step's always the hardest.
the first
You know?
one is always the hardest. I would say if you're not living with them, it will make it easier because you can get on your phone, learn if you're thinking about the fact that there's something wrong with them, but you can't put your finger on it. I would recommend like watching your guys' videos of different enactments. That's what gave me the first clue. Oh, she's doing all of these things.
That's big for people because they can see it in their own life. So that's a good one. Yeah.
The test, the narc is.
Are they a narcissist? Yes. Yes. It's for viewers. We have that. Yes. Are they a narcissist? Take that. That reveals a lot.
Get that counseling, get that help, get yourself in a position where you are healthy and healing.
So, all of that, amazing. And just like I said, just knowing you for the, all those months that we have, seeing how you were in the beginning and how you are now has been just an amazing transformation for John and I to watch. So, we're absolutely thrilled, and your story is going to inspire so many people. And I love it when you and I have a call. I see you wearing your warrior shirt. It's amazing, because you absolutely are a warrior. And we were thrilled to have you as a guest. Like I said, you're going to inspire a lot of people, and it's going to help a lot of people get off the fence about, wow, this is what I'm dealing with, but there's hope. And there's a way, there's a path to get out of it and take back control of your life, because you're the only one that can. And so we're thrilled to death that you have. And we thank you for being the guest on Warrior Talk. And we will obviously always be in touch with you. But you know how proud we are of you. And we thank you so much for being on our show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, absolutely.
Wow, what an amazing transformation. I loved her story.
Well, and kudos to you, because John did the whole physical part of this transformation method. And I mean, you really challenged her and inspired her.
Yeah, how amazing. She's inspiring me now. I mean, 6 days a week, 3 miles a day. That's incredible. That is getting her steps in for sure.
Yeah.
And it's our 4 pillars of recovery: mental, physical, financial, and spiritual. So that physical pillar has got to be there for your whole foundation to be strong.
Well, just to get your confidence back, your self-esteem back. So when you look in the mirror, you know who's looking back at you, because it was so long before I was able to work out again, because he just didn't give me any peace. I mean, it was probably like 7 years.
Yeah, I remember that.
I was afraid to go back to the gym. I mean, I had no confidence. So I honestly just started out very slow in my own, watching YouTube, and I slowly built my confidence back up. But it made such a difference in my mental capacity, because my body was strong. I felt good about myself again. And I could make those tough mental decisions that sometimes paralyze us.
Hey, let's get the mail back.
Let's get to mailbag.
We have a question this week that is perfect for what we've just heard.
Okay.
So this is a great question. Very, very similar situation. She says, after you block a narcissistic family member from phone and text, but have the email open, just so you can communicate.
Sure.
And the family member sends you an email invite to meet a distant relative and include the distant relative in the email. So it's acting as if this has been a working relationship throughout and the relative knows nothing about it. Mm-hmm. For me, I did not respond to the narc email. Is this the best way to handle this?
Absolutely, because that was entrapment. You're not responding. You don't have a relationship. So by pulling somebody else into it, and if you actually responded negatively, now all of a sudden you look like the problem, because that relative doesn't know the situation, nor is it a time to air that situation. But you might be curious about the relative. So you have their email. Get on the email just to them and say, I would love to get to know you better. This isn't a time for you to tell them what happened. You can just say, you know what? I'd like to form a relationship and get to know you. So here's my information. Here's my contact. And then you actually could form a relationship without any of this negativity or baggage or that dread of going, oh my gosh, I don't want to be part of this, but you might want to actually meet your relatives. So that's how I would handle it.
Excellent. Hey, this has been just a fantastic episode. I've learned so much. I've learned so much. And it's so great when what we are doing is helping others, and we can help you too. So if you've missed some of our previous podcasts, please subscribe to this channel and go back and see some of them. They're really, really informative.
Yes, and we appreciate you following us and watching us, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
Take care.